And I'm with Jan, the New England planner. What's up?
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Sorry, trying to get this camera just
Sturdy?
right.
Is it sturdy?
No, I can't get this thing to sit still. But listen, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. All right, so let's go.
All right, so we're taking on a lot of members in the Ghost Pipe Informative Group. So welcome everyone on board. We're going to just basically power through some posts and talk about it because comments don't really do justice with this plant right now. I mean, I think the Ghost Pipe hype is rolling. So what do you think? I mean, we're getting tons of members, and
Well,
it's trending as hell. It's just a snowball.
it's that time of year. Happens every year. Happens every foraging year. Ghost pipe madness. You know, people are just learning and they want to gather before learning. But with this plant, you have to learn how to gather it.
Yeah. You typically learn 2 or 3 times about certain things. So first post is I just found these back in mid-Michigan. I still have to wash and chop. So Michigan's been very popular. That's a great area to be in. So if you're in Michigan, good for you. You are in a
Yeah,
good
you
spot
should
to
have
get
no
ghost pipe.
problems finding any pipes in Michigan.
Yeah,
Just
you're in good
saying.
hands.
Michigan, New England, where's some other places? Wisconsin, seems to have some.
And right into Canada.
Tennessee, yeah, Appalachian Valley, Appalachian Mountain Chain, all throughout there. Yeah, any place that's gonna have some rustles. There's very few places in the U.S. that won't grow it at all, and it's usually like in that Four Corner area, and in the South. But
Yeah, so
yeah, I
the
mean,
the
it's
second comment the
ghost pipe
second
season.
comment was it's I still have to wash and chop. So good for you for rinsing off the dirt and debris and bugs and possible contaminants that might get into your tincture. So the old wives' tale is if you don't immediately, pick your ghost pipe and put it into the vessel, it is going to somehow melt away and all the medicinal properties are going to go away. So that does not happen instantly. But yes, there is a small timer, but it is not immediately. So this plant, as you work with it, it's going to be a lot harder and hardier, I meant to say, than you think it is. And don't bring your liquor into the field, you guys. That's my suggestion, Jen. You put your 2 cents in. I know you have an opinion.
Well, if my resting bitch face didn't have the opinion for
Yeah,
me.
you did good.
Okay, let's talk about this a minute because I think we've talked about this a lot in the last couple of years. Addie and I noticed 2 years ago there was a literal swarm of invaders in social media and Facebook teaching people unsafe methods and some methods, yes, including homemade cyanide. They were telling people it was almond extract. Yeah, don't do
That's
that.
nice.
Okay. So listen, guys, there is a distinct difference between the sipping alcohol that you can buy at your local liquor store and alcohol solvents that are made specifically for tincturing. Those you won't find on a liquor shelf in every state. Massachusetts, just so happens you can buy 190 proof at a liquor store in Massachusetts. Most states don't allow anything above 151.
Yeah.
And so let's unwind some thinking here. Okay. And I'm going to try to make this as short and as sweet as I can because I don't want to lose anybody in the explanation. Sipping alcohol that you buy at your local liquor store is not made for tincturing. Not at all. No, not you can't buy it in most states at 190 proof. That is lab grade, okay? Every state of the United States and possibly abroad, you can purchase lab grade ethanol made for tincturing by a touch of a button. It's
Yeah.
called 190 proof food grade ethanol. Ethanol is the chemical term for alcohol. See, that's why
Yeah.
you got to understand a lot of chemistry here.
Etho. You might say people say etho. See
ETOH,
that? That's
ETOH, ethyl alcohol. OL. Notice that OL at the end? Okay, so yes, can you tincture technically using 151? Yes, you can. That you can purchase at your local liquor store.
mhm.
If you don't have the ability or means or don't have the internet nowadays, which I find very hard to believe because everybody's listening and reading all these groups and Facebook posts, so I know that they have the ability to go on Amazon, Walmart, or any online lab suppliers. And guess what? 190 plus food grade ethanol. You can purchase it, click of a button, have it delivered right to your home. Is it illegal to have it delivered? No, it is not illegal to have it delivered.
Dude, you can order a
However,
500-gallon drum of it.
yes,
They'll
and
send
just
it
how
to you.
this.
Not
So
to
when you hear
suggest
people
doing
tell
that,
you,
but
yeah,
you
when
can
you
get a
hear
lot
people,
of ethanol.
sorry, I didn't hear anything you just said because my mouth was running.
You can order a 500-gallon drum of ethanol from these websites. I'm not saying you should, but it's
Yes,
right
you
now there's
can.
no regulations on it, and we talked about this last year. The price of it keeps going up and up and up due to inflation and money grabbing, in my opinion, and more people buying it.
More
So it
people are
doesn't hurt.
tasting. That's why.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to buy like a few extra gallons or liters for yourself because it'll stay good in the long term.
So,
Yeah, the
so,
next,
so here's the real skinny of it, everybody. Okay, 151 that you buy as a sipping liquor at your local liquor store. No, I don't care what state, I don't care what country you're in. It is not made for tincturing. However, if you are making something for self-use and you feel it is end of days and you can't afford to buy 190, just buy a smaller bottle. Okay. But if you can't afford and you can't wait a couple days to get it, okay, and you're making tinctures for self-use only, you are not selling it. That's not what you're doing because that's not technically good enough to sell anything. That's good for self-use. So if you want to have some to have it at home, you don't want to deal with the internet to order stuff, but you'll deal with the internet to learn how to make it. Yeah, it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense to me. So here's the deal. It's a wives' tale that's been spun out of control. And in my opinion, in my professional opinion, and that should carry some weight, all it is meant to do is slow people down, to convolute people, to confuse people, and make them drive around with an open liquor bottle in their car. Yeah, imagine telling that to a cop. Yeah, I'm making tincture. Don't matter. You got an open liquor bottle, you're going to get pinched, period.
he'll say
Don't do
that's
it.
for
Not
drinking, dude.
to mention, I did my own little experiment with this 2 years ago because
Yeah,
listen, I'm pretty blunt. And anybody that feels that they need to bring liquor out in the field with them, know this. I'm a professional fine organic gardener and a professional forager and an herbalist. Okay. I gather a lot. If I followed that kind of logic, I would need pack mules to be coming in to the bush with me for my mushrooms and my
yeah.
ghost pipe. Yes,
I
people,
don't.
it's a lot because I know how to preserve it. With that being said, 190 is the minimum, is what you should be shooting for here. And I don't want to
Yeah,
hear, this should end the discussion. Sipping liquor is way different than lab grade that's used specifically to withdraw medicinals because it needs to be strong. It has to be. The other thing is this: shelf sustainability, we've gone over. We know that things need to be resting at a certain proof in order to provide shelf sustainability. But here's the big one. If you tincture using 100 proof or 80 proof, that is not quantified as a tincture. Just because you used alcohol and is floating in it doesn't mean that it quantifies as a tincture. That is an extract. You see how that works?
Yeah.
So the people that are transponding all the benefits of using an extract of anything, imagine how much healthier they may be if they use the real professional lab grade and really were able to suck all those optimal medicinals out of that plant. Because in the end, herbalism does not mean dirty. It doesn't mean filthy. It doesn't mean bugs. It doesn't mean dirt. It doesn't mean anything of that. Okay. I don't like it. It means hygienic is what it means. Herbalism, it doesn't mean that it's the end of days and you just got to grab whatever you can. We're not at end of days people. We're just not. What do you think, Addie?
Yeah, it's an old wives' tale. And
It's meant to slow you down.
if you think like there's not a ton of them wives' tales about this plant, like we're debunking them every day. Granotoxin was the last huge 120-year plus. That was a big deal. No one's even talking about it. So granotoxin has been debunked. It does not contain GTX. Nobody cares about that. We already talked about it, but I think that's the biggest news so far. So we're going to go into another post. Sorry that went on for a while, Jen, but you did have to explain again.
Wait a minute. One more thing about
the whole
that.
tincture process.
One more thing about that. You have a lot of people telling you.
You're going to kill them. You're going to beat them over the head with this.
I am. Listen, you're going to have a lot of people telling you that the alcohol kills. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Okay. It just simply doesn't. So don't play microbiologist and assume that alcohol is going to kill any contaminants. It's not. Remember why you're using the alcohol. You're using the alcohol to withdraw constituents from a certain thing. What do you think is going to happen if you withdraw constituents from a piece of bark or something or another plant that was dead and desiccating near it, and you just think, oh, well, what the hell? Alcohol is going to kill it? Yeah, no. We don't tincture what we don't know in herbalism, period. The other big thing in herbalism is we don't waste. We don't waste our plants. We don't waste our mushrooms. And more importantly, we don't waste product. And the cardinal rule, we don't waste our time. Okay. So if you've got somebody telling you that 80 to 100 proof is fine, yeah, tell them, bless your heart, you do you. I'm going to follow the scientific method because that's what's going to net me the best results. So there you go. There it is in a nutshell.
All right. I don't want to bring that up again.
Yeah, right. We're going to be bringing it up.
We do podcasts all the time, so I've heard it 50 times. Not that new people shouldn't hear it, but I'm just like, it's like, how many times can I hear it and say it and promote it and keep talking about it? But it has to be talked about because
it has to be
coming up, and you have a lot of people that are just okay with making low standard and low grade remedies, and that's not going to be okay in this group. But you can enjoy it in different groups, and whatever. Don't get offended if you get banned for just being like, no, that's bullshit. You can use whatever you want. Go use wine then. Go use water. Go tincture with oil or vegetable glycerin. I don't know, dude. But in this group, trying to make you the best tincture that you can make. Not to be rude, but like you're the one that needs to be able to make it. And if you're buying it, be careful who you buy it from.
Yeah, if somebody is defending, if anyone is defending using 100 or 80 proof, run. That's it. Just run. I don't care what they use to defend it, and unless they're calling it an extract or an infusion, which is quantifiably, that's exactly what it is. Don't confuse new people and then have them go running rum shot in forums saying, no, I do it in 80. No, you have to understand why.
Big parrots. So we've talked about this before too. It's a parrot game right now. People are just parrots. They're parroting. It doesn't take, like, if you had 100,000 followers and you go, hey, cut ghost pipe, don't pick it. 50,000 people out of that 100,000 people that are following that person is just going to believe it. So,
So,
take it
so in
from
our
people that have been
forum,
doing it.
so in our forum and in our group, okay, I've taken a lot of heat for the last couple of years when I became public, and that's because of who I am and who my family is. I'm a direct descendant of the New England planters. I come from Thomas Gardner's line, his direct line. And he was what became the first governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He was the overseer and the head of the Cape Ann plantation. We came over for religious reasons. Our religious reasons were we like to practice homeopathy. Imagine healing people in those ages. But with that being said, his motto was, and I carry forward today, as long as I've been taken over for it, is this: medicine is free and available to anyone in nature wanting to learn. Okay. Learning involves more than just reading, a mass group of people from out of the country that have perpetuated a form of medicine in our country. Okay. I'm not having it. Okay. So I came out because I was a little bit sick and tired of getting all these emails and texts and phone calls from colleagues telling me, Janice, are you watching social media? Are you watching what they're doing? Blah, 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 blah. Listen, my family brought the folk method here. All y'all, everybody that's tincturing right now, you're welcome. Okay. So with that being said, I think I know a thing or two about the folk method. And the folk
The folk
method's pretty
method.
simple. Yeah, the folk method is very simple. It has worked for millennia. Okay. It works even before we had all these complicated tech medicine measuring machines and everything else. Those medicines worked at high proofs. Why? Because solvents do that. Even in those stone ages, they didn't know exactly why. It just worked. It just did. So now we have all here, medicine has evolved. We've evolved as a society, and we've got all these great tests and stuff like that. A lot of you guys don't know this, but 99.9% of all medicinals that are out there in pharma, their base, mycelium, mushroom. They give you 1% and then pile on 99% of synthetics on it, when really all they had to do expand that 1% to even 50%. Maybe it would have helped you a little bit more. So people are finding out since COVID, and everybody got into foraging and stuff like that, and they're educating themselves. A lot of these books that are out there right now on herbalism since 2020 are a lot of them are AI generated. A lot of them are done by people that call themselves herbalists, which we all know now anyone can be an herbalist. Just because you have a certificate that you were regretfully pissed off about in retrospect that you paid so much for, anybody can call themselves an herbalist, guys. Anybody.
You can be a scuba diver after one go or two goes at it.
Anybody, just like
in the Mariana Trench if you want after that.
Yes. Okay. Here's the real deal. Clinical herbalists, way different. Clinical herbalists have advanced degrees. Yes, pharmacology, biochemistry, all kinds of stuff to be even have that moniker, clinical herbalist. Okay. Way different. A clinical herbalist, once you're licensed, you got a golden noose around your neck, just like when you're a licensed nurse, a licensed any kind of medical provider. You're unable to really talk to someone who is not in your presence, not in your office as a patient. So there's a lot of things you can't say. So they use different phrases and so forth to go beyond that. Because I know this apothecary book by Nicole she was on Survivor. She wrote a book, or the home herbalist or something, home apothecary, something like that. People bought it like gangbusters. Okay. and they took it and they ran with it. If you read that book, it says tinctures require high proof alcohol. And here's the
Yeah.
caveat. Here's the caveat. But you can use 100.
Yeah, that's all the time.
Okay. People forget about that part that says high proof alcohol. Why? Because the emphasis is not on it. And that's with purpose. It's to sell books. It's to make you think that a sipping liquor is the same thing as a tincture liquor, and it's not. Why? Because Nicole's going to sell more books and everybody else is going to sell more tinctures, and they're going to say they learned from Nicole, so that's how they do it. That's what is wrong with social media right now. I read a post in an herbalist group where a woman took a picture of herself taking down all her dried herbs and closing her apothecary. She said, as an herbalist for over 50 years, herbalist now, not clinical, herbalist, but she's been practicing for 50 years. So that, give credit where credit's due. That's a lot of practical experience and helping people all those years. She's shutting it down because she is sick and tired of all the bullshit, just like I am. Okay. And we're losing a lot of really good herbalists that really could be productive. Yes, because they're sick of all the bullshit too. So here's my take on that. Try me. I'm not the run-of-the-mill herbalist. Okay. I'm not a pacifist. I am not a Quaker, even though I've had them historically in my family. This girl is not a pacifist. She will not wipe your feet on me. I have bite, big bite. So I'm just trying to fight back the scammers and the people that are trying to justify saying 80 proof and stuff is okay, especially with Ghost Pipe. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. And here's the real of it. Ghost Pipe has never been biochemically analyzed. Never. The last time it was done was in 1898. Imagine the tools that they had back then. So now Penn State is taking this on because of a female doctorate, put this up to defend her thesis. And she chose Ghost Pipe to do it. Okay. So now the university is backing her. She got it through. I'm so glad she did. And now they're going to biochemically analyze this. So here's the real of this. What we do know about Ghost Pipe tincture is it has a lot of raw salicylic acid. Same thing that you find in aspirin. Okay. And 190 is best to process that. And this is why. 180 proof will pull easy chemical constituents. Easy meaning stuff that there's a lot of and then they can pull out of one plant before it plateaus. Salicylic acid, people. That's what it's pulling. It's pulling salicylic acid and it's pulling color. Not color like I would like, but it's got violet hues, and there's something to be said for that. Here's an example. I've got this upside down. This is Ghost Pipe that I put in the solution in 190 yesterday. Okay?
Yes.
You can't see through this. And it's not because it's loaded with plant material. It's because this is what you want. You don't want to see through it. If I see through this, then one or two things are wrong. I used the wrong alcohol and I got too little pipe. That's the deal. You want to fill any vessel. Like I couldn't fill this vessel. Okay. I didn't gather enough ghost pipe yesterday. So I packed the vessel, probably to right about here. And then I overfilled it with the 190, just a little bit. Actually, I have a marker right here, but you can't see it. The pipe was filled to here, and the alcohol only went up to here. Look at how much fluid is in there today. You want to know why? Fresh pipe contains waters, natural innate waters. So the other thing that people always talk about is dilution. Oh, I dilute my tinctures. No, this is dilution right here in action. The chemical solvent, the food grade alcohol, is pulling all the constituents out. Why? Because it can, especially the water. Okay. It's
Yeah.
pulling waters out. That adds water to your actual tincture, guys. This is what we mean when we need dilution. We don't mean ever to intentionally add water to this, ever. You don't do that, because then you've just ruined a good medicinal, and you've created an herbalism faux pas. You've wasted. So we don't want to do that. So dilution, this is how it happens naturally. Eddie, have
Yeah,
you found
that's
what happens in some of your tinctures when you fill it up and all of a sudden you go back the next day and it looks a lot bigger, looks a lot more fuller than it was the day before?
yeah, sometimes. Not too much though. It's
Some
kind
people,
of
well, that's because you pack your vessels really good, like I taught you. Yeah, you can listen. You can't overpack these with ghost pipe. You really can't. And the reason why I say, you only put alcohol to cover the plant material plus an inch to give it room to shake is because what I really want you to do is pack a damn vessel with ghost pipe. That's really what I want you to do. Okay. But 2/3 is a good starting place, because you can't go wrong when you're doing a plant. Mushrooms, a little bit different. But when you're doing a plant, yeah, I pack all my jars. I don't care.
yeah.
But this one, I've got a half-gallon jar here. So what am I going to do? Do I need to fill the other half of this? I don't need to add more alcohol in this, because all that's going to do is dilute my tincture. You see how that works? The alcohol will have more than what the medicine is. You won't have diffusion and osmosis done properly. Can you add ghost pipe to this? Absolutely. You can add ghost pipe as long as it's covered, and go ahead and add a little bit more of your 190 over it to make sure that it stays covered. Okay. You can keep adding to this. Addie, why don't you tell them about your one jar that you had for 5 years?
Yeah, I have an 80% jar that I kept that I made the first time, and I keep adding to it year by year just to steep and steep and steep it. So it's like black at this point. There's no, it's the darkest 80% tincture on the planet, I believe. So that's been my social experiment for a while, and opening it once a year is kind of like a ceremony at this point. And it tastes great. It's the strongest tasting ghost pipe elixir on the market. But dude, let me tell you, it's fuck. Here, let me get it. Let me see.
I know. Go get it. Come on. If I'm whipping out my bottles, you better. If I'm showing mine, you show me yours. You guys, he keeps adding ghost pipe to this. Okay, is it going to hurt him to take it? No. If look at that. Just look at that. It's like
Yeah,
black. The whole glass
and
is
it's
stained
murky.
purple. The glass.
I haven't shaken it in like a year, so let me give it a good shake.
As
But
a
it goes to tell
professional
you that. And you
I
know
will
what?
tell
This
you.
jar, you might be right about that, because I did not fill this to the tippy top. A lot of moisture must have came out, because this is crazy.
Yes,
And if I
yes.
open this jar,
You see how that
it's
works?
it's it's sealed tight. I haven't opened it since 2024, so I skipped last year. I haven't opened it in 2 years, but it's packed and it's still good. So
Yes,
maybe
and can you use
last
it?
year I didn't, or I added some and then I forgot. But
Here's the
yeah,
thing.
it's got a
Addie
pretty
can
good stamp
use
on it.
that ghost. Addie can actually use that at 80 proof. Okay. You know why? Because Addie understands that there's a shit ton of salicylic acid in that.
Yeah, dude,
And
there's
he's
like one
not going
drop
to
of
take
this will
more
get you
than
where you
maybe
need to
3
be.
drops. That's why. Okay. So
So,
while we're on the subject of salicylic acid and how that plays in, liver functions. Okay. Your liver, right, Addie, is the only organ that we have that doesn't have pain receptors. It doesn't. We don't know when it's inflamed. We don't know when it's hurt. We don't know until it's too
no.
late. Okay. So as we age, our body has accumulated a lot of toxins in our lifetime, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it
Tests,
stays in your liver
food,
until you detox it.
yeah,
From what I
environment,
understand,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
certain things.
the reason why you don't use 80 and 100 proof is because you'll use more of it. Yeah, you will. And I don't
That's why I
care
see
if
people teaspoons, whole droppers, things like that. That's 80 proof, 100 proof. You would never
you
do
are
that if you made it
massively
properly.
overdosing. If you are taking,
Just saying.
huge, if you're taking amounts of this on a daily basis at 80 and 100 proof, you're doing yourself and your liver no help at all, especially if you're aging. So
Yeah.
here's the real. Most of us people have heard this back in the 90s because most of us Gen Xers, me, yeah, that's me. Okay. Used to go to clubs, and after you come home, we'd pop a couple extra strength Tylenols before we went to sleep after we were drinking all night long, just so we wouldn't have a hangover the next day. Bad move. We have since found out
Sounds terrible.
the liver will stack for processing. Yeah. The liver's got to do a job. And if it's got too much of a toxin in there and it's not able to work efficiently, it'll stack, it'll wait, and it'll process the more important things first. What that means is those toxins sit in your liver for a longer time doing more damage. Okay. But the liver's doing all it can do. So hang in there, little buddy. Help's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Help's coming.
And we're not
Don't
doctors,
take
by the
80
way.
and
Disclaimer.
yeah, don't take 80 and 100 proof if you have to, because it's the only thing you got in the house and you got a fever. Then yes, I would use 80 to 100 proof as a fever reducer, but only maximum 3 drops sublingually. That's it. Any more, if you need any more than that, you don't need to use that tincture. You need to get some Tylenol or get to a doctor if your fever's that bad and you don't have the appropriate, home apothecary home. So
Right,
that's
so
why.
I shared our live in the group, so maybe we'll get some friendly friends or some commenters or something. I don't know if anybody's commented yet, but we're kind of just hanging out and
Usually
shooting the shit.
we'll hit the comment section after we do a live because
It's always
Addie's in
sporadic.
Pennsylvania, I'm in Maine, and we try to do as much as we can with these lives, with these split screens. So we hope that you guys do enjoy it. So you don't tincture an 80 and 100 because that's not a tincture. That's an extract. You want to be careful with extracts. You want to be careful with constituents, including contaminants. You don't want contaminants in any of your tinctures. Now, maybe, somebody has something else to add. I don't know. But I will tell you that, you're here to learn. Learn. Don't argue. We put up, I and Addie both put up some group rules there. We figured we needed them after this last week.
Dude, it gets to be chaos, like when you run a big group and you get thousands of people in like a week or 2 weeks, and you don't want to just start banning everybody. That you want to try to educate, but then it gets to the point where you're like, all right, I got to put up some filters here and lay down the law. You got to be honest with what the hell you're doing. Don't just post a picture of purple jars and say, hey, hey, how are you? Welcome to the group. And we're like, hold on, I got like 25 questions. And just new people. So like, don't get offended, but trust the admins in the group. Don't trust some random participant or someone that doesn't have like a badge next to their name. We don't know how long somebody might give you a piece of bad advice before we're going to come in and say, hey, what are you talking about? So just keep on like posting whatever you want. Don't be afraid to get shot down. I think it's pretty self-explanatory once you get used to it, but there weren't any group rules before, so a few people have posted it, and I took their post out and sent them a message, say, sorry, we got new rules, feel free to repost it. So that's the basics of the rules. It's more just organizing everybody, because it just gets to be mayhem and arguing, and I don't want to argue with people who've been members. But if you're a participant, you can get the hell out if you got something crazy to say.
I know. There are some great people in our group, without a doubt. and there are some people that are OGs that have been with us from the beginning. Listen, we did this because, well, I can't answer for Addie, but I will answer for me. The reason why I did this was because I'm sick of the batshit crazy information that's being pulled out there for Americans. I'm done.
Dude.
I'm all done. Okay, I'm done. Okay. People need to take off their shoes and get fucking grounded.
Yeah, pretty much.
Realize that, yeah, there needs to be a modicum of respect for one another in these forums. Listen, in a lot of these health forums, I see people taking swipes at each other, saying some nasty things, and I've definitely taken the swipes over the last couple of years. I've been in some pretty big forums, and I was moderator of some of the biggest forums on Facebook for health, and I left them because they were invaded. Invaded is all I can do by and everything else, and it just took too much of my time. So the easiest thing for me was to create a pure forum. One now, do I know the scammers are going to get in here? Yeah, I do. But here's the thing: I've got screenshots, and the internet's forever. And anybody that pissed me off in any of those forums, guess what? I got the screenshots, and I've got a nice little list of everybody's names and their double identities with their Facebook accounts.
Yeah,
Because
dude. I don't even
yeah,
want to get too far into that. Listen, I don't even want to get too far into that because it's fucking weird, and
I
and
will.
you need to stop there.
I will tell you that in herbalism, there is a bunch of mean girls
Weird.
and mean boys. And I don't understand. In herbalism, we don't.
It's crazy. It's because internet and society this is how they act about everything. It's not herbalism, it's just everything. You
I
name
know.
it. You started a group.
It seems
If you
herbalism
started a
because
group called the Harry Potter Book Club, you'd have 10,000 people arguing over everything. And if you didn't monitor it, it'd become the meanest hate group there was. So that's
you
just
would.
what ghost pipe groups.
But listen, this is
Like,
what pisses me off as an herbalist.
yeah.
Okay, it pisses me off because this is supposed to be all inclusive. It's supposed to be where people learn. And when I get into forums and people want to inflate their own egos just to make themselves feel more secure, I don't know what the deal is. But in this forum, what we're going to practice is we're going to practice kindness, keeping your hands to yourself, and using words like compare to instead of this is, compare to sounds better because it also helps people to do some of the legwork. So, because there's no short arm syndrome in herbalism. You can't go, no, just tell me everything. I just want no short arms allowed. Okay. You got to work at this. You've got to do the books and stuff like that. And one last thing, I'll talk about that subject and then we'll move on. If you want to villainize science, if you feel that you are that damaged mentally and emotionally by science that you don't want to trust science or you want to villainize science, know this. You are also villainizing an entire community called herbalism. We trust the science. What we don't trust is big pharma. That's what we don't trust. We trust each other. We trust each other in the stories, both we tell, that have been passed down to us, that others may not have had that knowledge and didn't have family members that passed that knowledge. It's up to us to share and be kind to one another. Okay. So with that being said, there's group rules that cover all that too. So feel free to look at the group rules, be kind to one another, keep your hands to yourself and play nice. That's basically it.
Yeah, basically there's not much rules other than like just don't try to act like a ghost pipe expert. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny. Like the last group I feel like
texting is subjective. And I constantly read in forums as people say, you're just being me. Really? Is there a button that I didn't know about while I was typing that somebody heard what I said? because texting is subjective. Don't automatically think the worst of something because somebody wrote it. Ask why. Why? I want your thought process. Help me to understand this. Because then and only then can true communication and exchange occur so that you
Listen,
can understand the level.
people nowadays don't want true communication. They want to fucking get the answer and be told they did it right and pat on the back. On they go. They're an expert. You know, kudos to the one guy. Since we've only made it to 2 posts and we're at 40 minutes in our group. But one guy posted. He followed the rules, so I let him do it. But he posted his tincture, he posted his process and everything, and he cut the flower. That was his first big mistake. So
Yeah,
that's
but
another one we're gonna go through real quick, Jen. I don't want to be stuck on this crap all night because we're at 40 minutes, man. Ghost pipe season.
Listen, he made a video. He
He
posted
did good.
it.
We're proud of you, sir.
Yes, I very am proud of you. You did this. Listen, we are not making fun of you at all. We're using you as an example to so that other people will be just as brave. Because
Show
he
everybody.
also said in the post when we gave him some pointers, he said this is his first time doing it. He's just learning. Okay.
Yeah.
So think about that for a second. One video and you had someone tell you the truth that they are just learning. Think about the hundreds of videos that you see on how to harvest ghost pipe that everybody's cutting.
Dude,
They're probably doing it for the first time
the same
too.
air quotation herbalists keep posting their same cutting videos every year to get their content creators. So like,
click.
it would be nice for us to get that revenue, but dude, we're blue collar here. We're not going to be. I don't think we're ever going to be content creators. We'll be able to pay our houses off with that, right? But people that do and are professional content creators know the ghost pipe buzzword. They go, oh fuck yeah, bam, here's my ghost pipe video, 2 million views, and he's cutting them and he's barely putting a few in a glass of jar he won out with, and it pisses me off every year.
The point
there's a bunch of them. There's a lot of them, and shout out to them. They're successful guys. They teach a lot of people. But if they're doing that wrong, what the fuck else are they doing wrong? Sorry, I'm cussing a lot, but I am getting wound up.
See, welcome to my world.
Yeah, it does. Having 100,000 followers these days doesn't make you a professional in much. I just want to let people know, like, underground music, underground herbalism, underground herbalists, those niche communities are far more informational than the giant conglomerate. Millions of people follow them because they sell out eventually. They just tell you what you want to hear.
They do.
That's my opinion.
They do. Listen, as a wild forager, okay, you will never see a wild forager anywhere that lives in $1 million mansion.
No.
Period. You won't. It doesn't happen. That is not why we do this. Okay. In my family, it's genetic. Okay. It's a calling that we're born into. It's just the way it is. We like to heal people and tell people what to do in order to heal them. That's it. Okay. Yeah. We're famous for it. All right. However, there are a lot of people called to herbalism and they're getting discouraged.
Oh, absolutely.
They're getting discouraged because a lot of people are giving them the wrong information. They're wasting a lot of product. They're wasting a lot of time, wasting a lot of years doing it the wrong way, actually, because they've been lied to. They've been told or given limited information because the people that are giving them the information, they don't know.
They're a bunch of bullshitters.
They don't know. Just like that gentleman who made the video. If you saw that video, a clip, any place, would you think that he's a professional? He knows what he's doing? Yeah, right.
Well, according to his following, their followings, they are, because they have so much followers. It's kind of like having an eBay store with a bunch of ratings that are just, like, what are you gonna? You think by the image it looks good, so he's right or she's right.
That's why I'm always making fun of Insta foragers and Insta gardeners.
Look, I don't want to poke fun at too many people because there's there are good foragers and educators, and we know who they are, and we tell them who they are all the time. Learn your land. Adam's great. Past him. There's a couple guys, but most
Listen,
people are
the Maine mushroom
clickbaity,
group
and
is a good one
they're
to learn
clickbait.
from. Yeah, but listen, the sentiment being is not everything on Facebook or on social media is what it posts to be. Just
No,
because someone looks pretty and they're pretty to look at and they're out in the field and they don't even look like they have an ounce of sweat on them, or if they do, they're covered in makeup. Okay, as a woman, okay, I can tell you, I have never, and I've been a professional fine organic gardener for 50 years. I have never seen somebody show up and to work in my gardens wearing full makeup. Never. Okay,
unless
because
they're ready to create content.
it's not practical. They're doing it to make content. Just because they look pretty and they're grabbing people and they're grabbing and gleaning
Yeah,
information places else, and they're even backing it up with these studies that they found, elusive studies, but they don't even know how to interpret the studies, and they pick studies that they can interpret. You see what I'm saying? So always do your deep dives is a sentiment that Addie and I are trying to get, because you'll always see me with sun makeup. I don't have time, guys. I don't have time. I just don't. And this is the real of foraging. You have to wear protective gear. When I was out in the Allagash this weekend, I went up a week after Addie and I and Jen had gone up the previous week, because I knew that on my family's land, their back 40, I could find some. I just had to really go through some
yeah.
rough, and I really wasn't looking forward to it, but I did it. Okay.
Yeah, that's not good. Crawling around like
I
a
was
spider trying to get
crawling.
ghost bite.
Yeah, I was crawling on my belly.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but the image is
Yeah.
in my head.
I was crawling on my belly because those
I've
big
done it. What are you kidding me?
branches that come down from those conifers that they like to
Pine trees
hide.
are the worst.
You
I
gotta
told
lift
you
them
that
up.
last year.
Yeah. And I showed you when we went up to the Allagash, when I lifted up one of the branches, and then boom, there was a ghost pipe right there. But the thing is, when you get underneath there, guess what else beds underneath there? Deer do, all kinds of animals. Okay. I did not have head protection on at all, because
Just
there
white
was
head.
no room for a hat, because I literally was in a space like about this wide.
Yeah.
Okay. No room for a hat. I was getting scratched, everything left and right, left and right. When I got out of there, my main concern was my head. Because a few years ago, 2 years ago, I did something similar. And on the drive home, I'd taken off my baseball hat, because I had a baseball hat on that day. I took off my baseball hat, and I started, just fluffing my hair in the wind in the Hummer, and then I felt some bumps on the top of my scalp. 3 ticks. Yeah.
Oh man.
And you had a hat on. Okay, so when I left the Allagash Sunday night to come home, I was like this the whole way on the ride, because I was so freaked out thinking that I had some ticks in place. But this is how dangerous it can be out in the woods. I mean, my cousin was with me. I mean, he was outside the duff. I was definitely in it. But I worry about things like that. So I don't get all dressed up. I don't get all pretty. I dress for the job that I'm going to do. Period.
Yeah.
And the trees don't need me to look pretty.
No, they don't.
Just
Beauty
saying.
is natural, right? So you don't need no trees approval.
I just think that there needs to be authenticity in your
there's no standard.
And women, when we hit that menopause bump, we get real authentic, and we get real sick and tired of the bullshit, of a lot of things that we had to do as women, in order to feel better or to make somebody else feel better. We don't do that anymore. Once you hit menopause, that's it. We're done. We're done people pleasing. So I'm done. I will you see me with makeup every now and then? Maybe, but really not so much. This is just how it is. Addie loves to wear makeup.
Oh yeah, I just cut meat for like 8 hours and then didn't shower and came on the live. So yeah, I'm dolled up. This. You know what? I put this on to kind of. This is my. That's it. I got hat hair for my work hat, so I put this hat on, and that's it. I'm tired, and we're gonna.
I
We're
got
gonna.
my messy
We're,
bun. Why? Because I had this. This is the turkey tail, Addie, that you left that we collected while you were here. Yeah, I dried it out. Which and guess how I dried it out, everybody? Turkey tail is probably one of the easiest mushrooms to process because it's one of the thinnest. Doesn't have mushrooms don't carry a lot of water. You know, these kind of mushrooms don't. These kind of shelf mushrooms. But in any case, all you have to do is pick them off. Try to get as much of the bark away from any of the detachment, any of the point of attachment to the tree. Like on this, you'll see how I cut away some of the bark that it was attached to because it sat like a rosette this way on the tree. But I don't really want to tincture bark, right? No, I want to tincture the mushroom. So I cleaned it, I prepped it, and what I did was all I did was lay it out on wax paper on a 13 by 9 baking sheet. That's it.
yeah, and then just let it dry.
Paper, because the wax paper, it's easy to separate the turkey tail mushroom from the debris if you use wax. Wax paper. Yeah, it's easy.
There
You
you
just
go. There's the tip.
shift it a little bit, give it a little shake, shift it a little bit. The dirt will all collect in one area, and you just move the mushrooms, and you go ahead and you grab them. And then desiccant packs. So they literally can dry overnight on your counter. You just need to have even airflow in your home. That's it. You're good. You know, keep them away, you know, and as far as direct sunlight and stuff like that, I don't really care because they dry within 24 hours, less than they dry overnight.
Yeah.
And then you put desiccant packs and you collect them and you put them in your mason jars. Okay. Now I'm going, you know, something like this. This is ready for tincture. Okay. Once I've set it out over the counter, I cleaned it, I've removed the debris, it's ready for tincture. So if I were to tincture this jar right here, okay, you see how this is about half full of turkey tail? More than half. Yeah, it's pretty going up to 2/3. I'm probably going to collect a little bit more until it gets up to this much of turkey tail.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to fill it with solvent. And I'm going to keep this. I'm going to shake it twice a day. In the morning, I'm going to shake it and leave it upside down. That way, when I come home, I know that I did it in the morning. If it's this side up, I know I did it the night before.
Yeah.
PM, AM. That's how you can tell whether you shook your jaws or not. That's how I do. And then that's it. Let it sit in 190 and it's ready in 2 to 4 weeks. It's easy. The other thing about the 190 and the 151.
Oh, she's back on it. Everybody watch out.
Everybody watch out. When you use the correct lab grade solvent, the 190 proof, your tincture is ready in half the time.
Yeah, it's better.
Bonus. You don't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks. You wait 2 to 4. So, you know, for ghost pipe, you can start dosing, you know, yourself, you know, right from the jar. And you'll notice that the longer it sits, the better it'll get. But, you know, you can start dosing at 2 weeks. Yeah.
There you go.
You can leave the ghost pipe in. Yeah, and let's go over this. People ask what to do with the ghost pipe, Addie. What did you tell them? You can eat them. You can put them in honey.
Honey, dry them, or pick dried. Do a lot of things. We're gonna Jan and I don't want to give it too much away, but we're gonna try to figure something else out too. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't know. There's not too much other
things coming up.
Yeah, I don't want to give the honey. Everybody kind of makes, so that's not really a big giveaway there. So,
No.
But there is a little bit of a trick to it. You don't want to make it too runny. You want to just kind of put your pipes in, and maybe if it's still really thick, maybe add some some tincture. But yeah, the ghost pipe group is blowing up. It's getting popular. So there's
Well,
not really too many other topics. It's the same topics that we had in the last ghost pipe group I started with my buddy, and it's the same song and tale and parrot this time, except I'm not putting up with it. So, so if you're getting your
listen,
information from somewhere else other than this group, and it's wrong, maybe you can blame me a little bit, maybe you can't, but sorry, but this is the informative group, and we have information, and we want
yeah.
to inform people on the best way for them to use this plant, not the best way somebody else wants you to use it, the best way you can use it. And we've had members put all this stuff to the test already, and they post it, and there it is. So I'm kind of done. That's like the gavel, the ghost pipe gavel. Like everyone's been educated.
Everybody kind of has, and
Yeah,
it's okay to mess up.
it's perfectly
And
fine.
I mess up all the time. The good thing about science and chemistry is sometimes if you know enough, there's ways to save things.
Yeah,
And last week, we've had a couple members, say, "Ah, shit, we started it with 100 proof. What do we do? What can we do to save it?" There's really not much you can do to save it. Okay, once you've started the tincture process and you've started 100 proof, you've already started pulling constituents out at an uneven rate. So you are going, you're not going to use that for medicinal purposes. What you
no,
can do with it, okay, you can take it away as a good lesson what not to do, which all of us have done, all of us. Okay, and I mean, look at me. I've even made that mistake. Everybody does. And if you say that you don't make a mistake, then, well,
yeah,
perhaps
and you're
you
God,
do. But
right?
yeah, so the ways to save something like that is you don't want to necessarily save the tincture, the fluid. What you want to do is save the pipe. So the way that you can save that pipe and utilize it still instead of having it go to waste is that you can filter it out, let it go through the process, let it wait your 6 or 8 weeks or not, I don't care. And you're going to filter out the ghost pipe. Use a French press. Works great. French press coffee. Throw it all in there, filter it out, run it through a cheesecloth if you have to get the little pieces that you miss, especially if you didn't wash or not wash, rinse your ghost pipe before you put it in the jars.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. I don't want dirt
Don't
pieces.
start. Don't start on the washing.
Mm.
We went through that.
How
I knew you were about to start getting on somebody.
can you talk about this process without talking about the actual
We
methods?
already, yeah, the first
It's
post we
scientific. You
covered
talk about
was
scientific
should I
methods.
freshly picked and freshly washed rinse, and then it was like, bam, just started going. Oh man, I'm laughing. Jan, only us have talked about ghost pipe so much that it's like we're
Watching it is a controversy. Rinsing off dirty things before you consume them and play mad scientist, that's crazy to think about, right?
yeah, don't tincture a black widow spider egg on accident or something like that.
It's,
You know what I'm saying?
it's not
Like, you know what I mean?
the insect. Addie, I could give a crap about the insects. There's no insects around me locally that I could tincture that would ever harm me. They would get killed by the alcohol, but that doesn't
Yeah,
mean
but
that
I'm
they're
just
dying
listen.
apart.
That was just a funny. But what
Well,
I'm
I know,
saying
but
is,
listen, this kind of plays into the fact how everybody talks about how ghost
any
pipe melts and how it's fragile it is. It's not fragile at all.
no, it's
Um,
not fragile.
the parts that bruise on it are specifically its petals. The petals going up the stem and the petals that surround the flower. And that's done with the creator's genius in mind. Because with ghost pipe, because it's non chlorophyll, you're going to tell if something's been there, if something's touched it, if it's been some type of outside influence
Yeah.
or environmental influence. So, but the most important indicator in order to have this species survive and thrive in nature is we want it pollinated, guys. And the way to get the way to know that if a patch has been pollinated, it's okay if you take some ghost pipes out of that patch that haven't been pollinated. It's okay. The bee doesn't have to hit every single one, but you will notice in that patch the edges of some of the flower heads will be black. They'll have that dark indigo color, the bruising.
Yeah.
That's because they've been pollinated. A little bee's been in there. So there's your sign that's been pollinated. It's good to go. Okay. If you have a couple in there that haven't been pollinated, so what? The bees already has hit a patch. Trust me, he's hitting plenty other wildflowers out in nature.
They crawl around on their bellies in the leaf litter. They don't even fly around sometimes. I have videos. I watched one crawling around. First time I've ever seen them.
One more hot topic, and then I don't care, because this is being recorded and I want everybody to take the time and listen to this on your drive home and all this other kind of stuff. To pull, not to pull, to cut, not to cut. In the end,
we already covered this one.
Yeah, in the end, you decide all that stuff, right? But now, because my menopause, now I forgot what the hell I was going to say, because now I got all fired up about it.
Whether the cut or pull, we covered that in the first post where to.
Okay. Then here, I just remembered I had a menopause breakthrough.
Yes.
Okay.
What else? What do you got? What's the wives' tale?
Oh my God. Listen, I made it pretty clear in the group rules that if you think that the second that this plant is harvested, that its medicinal qualities go poof in the air, you need to get your ass grounded, because that is not how botany works. Okay. And I will tell you this, it's hurting this plant. The shroud of mysticism that this plant has been covered in for a millennia, it seems, because a lot of Americans don't know about ghost pipe. Meanwhile, all of Europe has been using it.
Yeah. Okay.
For forever. In Asia, forever. Parts of Chinese medicine, people. Just saying. Educate. So listen, not every this plant requires respect. It requires respect of the practices that a bunch of us old broads have been doing, and old guys too. I know that it's not all old broads that are carrying this weight. I know there's a lot of dudes that are carrying it too. And know this, you're in a good group. We're going to help you along. We make mistakes. I certainly make mistakes every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Every day. All right. And I will admit them every single time. I've got no problem admitting when I'm wrong. None whatsoever. Neither does Addie. There's going to come times where as they do the biochemical analysis of this plant, we're going to even learn more. But what we do know now, and what we've known traditionally for a millennia with this plant, is it is excellent for physiological and psychological pain, both of them. It's excellent to help people come off drug addiction. Mm-hmm. It's excellent for people trying to sleep, grief. This is pretty much a full spectrum med. And in those terms, mastering your ability to utilize it and how you choose to turn it into a medicinal, well, that's really on you. And that's the beauty of herbalism and natural meds. We can teach you the correct way, the way that somebody like me and our family's been doing it for hundreds of years. Okay. And outing. I am literally crowdsourcing, not crowdsourcing. What do you open sourcing? I'm open sourcing all the methods. Okay. And I'm trying to crowdsource. I'm trying to get you all involved in that. so that you can spread that message as well. Okay. Because in the end, we're all here as Americans to help one another. We are all here to be kind to one another and to pass information on. And that's what we're doing in herbalism. We're trying to promote good health. We're trying to get people out and to know that your medicinals are right out there in your backyard. You just got to look for them, and you can make it yourself.
Yep.
Do Addie and Addie and I have a line. I've always had a line. I've had a few of them actually. And, so do I sell to the public? Yes, in limited capacity, meaning I have an eBay store that I will put some of my tinctures, not all, because I'm not comfortable with putting all of them. Why? Because I wild forage, guys. Like I said, we're not going to get rich on this because we have to go out there with boots on the ground. We don't grow these. Nature, God does that. And we go out there and we collect them. So it's not like you can gather a lot. So some of the stuff I have will always be in limited supply. Some things, which I will tease about, are certain mushrooms that are known to increase energy. You can't get them en masse here in the US. Why? Because we don't live in a subtropical climate like Borneo, where these mushrooms are everywhere. So sometimes I will have to outsource for a specific mushroom. I only outsource with long-standing family businesses here in the United States that have a proven track record. And, so you will always get the best where that's concerned. Other than that, everything is wild forage. And the mushroom that I'm talking about specifically is cordyceps.
Yeah.
Cordyceps is the mushroom that gives you energy. It increases oxygen, ATP production, and stuff like that. I don't know. Everybody probably remembers when Lance Armstrong was busted for blood doping. That's kind of what blood doping does. It increases the oxygen. So here's the skinny of it, and here's the real. I have a lot of athletes that I supply medicinals to, and cordyceps is one of the big ones. And that's what the athletes are using to increase their energy. It's what's increasing the ATP production. It's wonderful to have,
Yeah.
and it's great. So that one I will offer to the public. And there's just the tease because I don't know when, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's more coming down the pipe. I'll open up lines as I have,
Coming down the
stock
pipe.
to do them, and there'll be limited times available. But know this, not I don't I if I could, I think someone asked me recently what I would want to see, what's the nut of it for me? And the nut of it for me is this. There's medicine available in nature. It's free and available to everybody willing to learn. That's the nut of it. The same one that my great grandfather had. And that's just what it boils down to. There is my ethos right there. Is I feel that anyone can do this, and I'm passionate about it, and I want people to learn. If you want good quality, consistent meds, you want something to compare it to, go to my eBay store or contact Addie or me, whatever. We're happy to sell you some, but that's not why we're doing this. We're doing because, not get rich. Doing this because I'm trying to elevate us as a society and as a whole, and to bring some sanity back to some of these herbalism groups, and to remind people that use your noggin. Use your noggin. You don't tincture ghost pipe in water. There's a thing in chemistry called hydrophobic and hydrophilic. And that's how come when, people, will talk about dual tincturing wild lettuce, it drives me a little nuts because they're making a burnt tar soup in crock pots out of it. No medicinal value, just a bunch of burnt material. And that's where the hydrophobic and the hydrophilic comes into play. Latex is hydrophobic.
All right. I got to look into that. Listen.
Water's not going to pull it out. See, it's simple terms like that. Dilution,
Yeah.
hydrophobic, hydrophilic. Understand some of the basic chemistry stuff. And the most important ones that a lot of us seem to have forgotten. I know that we all, Gen X, I know for sure, okay. We all learned in science classes going to school about Louis Pasteur, Florence Nightingale. Let's get back to that. Okay. Water is not going to pull things back. Heat and pasteurizations kills microbes. Pasteur. Yeah, over 100 years
I don't
ago.
know.
People are still saying to pull water in a crock pot. It's archaic to me. It really is. I think some people either they have mental illness or there are really people out there that are trying to hurt others and take advantage of somebody at their most vulnerable when they're ill and when they're looking for help.
Yeah.
And I find that utterly disgusting, and I will fight it every tooth and nail, right to my grave, no problem. I will
Yeah.
fight it.
Most people looking into
I have no
taking
problem fighting it.
most people looking into taking an herbal remedy. Most people looking to take an herbal remedy are in pain and trying to get out of big pharma, and then they take something wrong, and then bam, they they end up right back in big pharma where they didn't want to be. So that's the whole point of this, is to not have that person or whatever end up back to where they were, because they go, this is bullshit. Look at all these people fighting and arguing. This shit's a crock pot. So long story short,
Love
this
one
is
another. Be kind to
yes. This should be a
and
community, and
you
it's being
see
overrun by the
Ryan.
internet. So
And
I
you
would just
see Ryan,
select
okay?
specific groups. But yeah, I'm gonna try to wrap it up with you, Jen. I'm gonna get off of here. All right.
All right. Listen,
We
read
are
these
done.
rules, everybody. Pay attention to it. You got questions on it, ask about it in the forum. I've been getting a lot of DMs, direct messages with people with questions. I don't mind answering them if I have the time. I would prefer if you ask in the group, because if I'm not available, if I don't have signal, Addie is, and one of us will get it done. But just know this: your admins,
Yeah.
we got you. No question is stupid. We are not going to make fun of you. Everybody is learning. We're all going to elevate together, and we're all going to learn how to make quality and consistent medicinals from nature,
Yep.
as it should be.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. If you made it this long, good for you. I commend you. And we'll talk to you soon, and join the group.
Eat your damn mushrooms.
Ending now.